I love the way painting with watercolour makes me feel, and that's what makes it one of my most cherished art supplies, and why I keep adding more and more watercolours and different formulas and different colours to the Jane Davenport art supply collection. And the watercolour library is my most highly pigmented selection of watercolors. The original sets are in tubes, and this is the new mobile library, the new book truck edition of the watercolor library. Now the colors are really serious, but the names are inspired by books, classics, books that I've loved, or books that have really made me think, and books that I intend to read at some point during my life. There's a lot of books I've got to get through. And the book truck edition has some of the favourites and the most useful colours from the original watercolour library now in this half pan size. This new book truck edition actually is the replacement for my original petite palette, which had over 3 different palettes in gorgeous coloured tins. This is an upgraded formula, but if you do have those original colours, you can just add these to them because you've got new colours in here as well. The tin has got those 3 mixing tray areas because you can remove that central tin and then that can just pop back inside. There's also a thumb ring on the back of the tin palette so that if you are painting plein air outside, you can just put your thumb through that and it frees up your other hand, just makes the palette easier to hold. There are 15 colours in the palette, so you can fit very easily 7 at the top, 7 at the bottom, just, make them a little bit closer. And then you've got that bonus beige colour, which makes a nice mid skin tone, which is definitely a convenience colour. It's quite easy to mix skin tones, but if I'm journaling, if I'm out and about and I just want to paint some people, I have that nice mid beige tone that I can make lighter and that I can make darker. And I have it just sitting there in that middle section of the palette. You could put a very small paintbrush there. I find that I would rather have a bigger paintbrush and fill that row up with more watercolours, which I'll show you later on. And you can see that this set has the gorgeous vibrant colours that you would expect from me, but it also has these incredible, deep, rich, granulating colours. I find these have been beautiful for painting faces, gorgeous for backgrounds. And you'll find that the pigments that are in these darker, richer colours really add extra depth to your artwork. That's what I'm finding with mine. Anyway, I'm loving using them. Now, there are 6 mixing colours in here. We all know that the primary colours, red, blue and yellow, make green, purple and orange. But there are 2 sets of these mixing colours. We've got our warm mixing set and we have a cool mixing set. So a cool yellow, which is a lemon, a cool blue, which is a turquoise, and a cool red, which is a pink. Those colours, when you mix them together, make lighter, brighter, more vivid, high key greens, oranges and purples, like that beautiful lime green. That's when we use the cooler colours, the cooler mixing set, the lemon yellow, which is called Huckleberry Fin, and the cool mixing blue, which is a cobalt teal, and that's going to give you that beautiful lime. Similarly, if you mix Huck Fin, which is that lemon yellow, with Pride and Prejudice or Little Women, which are our 2 cool reds, like bright pinks, that's going to make a different kind of purple, more in the lavender family, than if you use the red of Les Mis and the French ultramarine, which is called Belgiar. That's going to make more of a burgundy type of purple. So you get these different types of purples, different types of oranges and different types of greens. And going back to those deep, rich, granulating colours, this particular one is called the Crucible, and it's a caput mortuum, which means death head or dead head. this color is so fulsome and just so delicious to paint with. Sure, you can mix a brown, but you can't mix it to be as intense as the pigment itself is. When you add purples, like there's a color in here called Persuasion, which is a permanent magenta, it is so gorgeous with the other purples in this collection and the blues. It's a whole nother realm of rich, deep colors that make all of the bright, vibrant, high key, happy colors sing the most beautiful song. Jungle Book is the most amazing deep green. Watership Down is more of a natural green. Sure, you could mix them, but they're not going to be as vibrant as the pigment itself. So it's really, really, really fascinating as an artist to work with colors like this, because you learn so much about mixing, but also about what primary pigments and very, very high quality mixes of pigments are going to deliver for you. So I'm just adoring this palette, and I've been doing lots and lots of live streaming with this, so you can see it on my YouTube channel, and all of the videos there are free for you to come and enjoy. And because of the way that the beautiful colors dry down, even though it looks like there's lots of texture there, it's still very, very smooth and very, very matte. And one of the most fabulous things about watercolors, but these in particular, is how well they mix with other media. So I'm playing around with pixel pens and fluffy white cloud pastel pencils and whatever else I feel like, and adding in a little bit of the original color library. This is a set that I've made from the tubes. It's the original 24 colors, and I can just add these in. I did think that I would make one big grand palette with all of them in so far, but I love using the book truck edition as a little standalone on its own. I think the colors just go so well together, and maybe that will change in the future and I'll move them around and put them as a great big massed set. But at the moment, it's just giving me everything that I need, and I can always grab my other colors as necessary. I've also been using the new colors in some large scale watercolor paintings on canvas. And because the colors are so intense, they're so pigmented, they're just working brilliantly at that bigger scale as well. So what am I going to do with that spare space that I've got in the middle of the palette? Well, let me show you. I'm just going to grab a few more empty half pans, and I'm going to stick a magnet on the back of them. These are half pans that we have on my website, and the fine magnets, they're just fine, super strong magnets. We have them on the website as well. So I've super glued those to the bottom of my pans. That's how I do all my vintage tins. And I've thought, well, I need gold. I need some metallic gold in this little set. So I've got some of my pigment pebbles, and I've just put them in there, put a bit of kinder binder to let them melt. I also need Pygmalion, which is one of the colours from the colour library. And Pygmalion's the original book that My Fair Lady's based on, which is also based on a Greek story. So but Pygmalion is this beautiful quinacridone magenta, or based on that, and it's just the most gorgeous coral for water lines in eyes and for lips. Just love it so much. And Oliver Twist is one of my favorite colors from the watercolor library as well. It's a beautiful purple. I've still got room to add another color, and I can also add a nano palette in there. You can find them on my website too. Now, as you're going, it's a good idea to write the name of the colour on the pan. That way you've got a reference for it, because you might forget what it is in the future, and it just can be handy. And I've got a pen in my collection called the Wonder Writer, and I have it specifically for labelling. It's got a really fine end, as well as a slightly broader tip. It's a dual end pen, and it's an alcohol-based ink, so it's good for labelling things like half pans and whatever else I've been cooking up in my colour laboratory. So the new book truck edition of the watercolour library, The colours are absolutely stunning. They're designed to be useful, to be gorgeous together. And of course, you can add them to flesh out and fill in the existing colour library, which is only available, as are all of the brushes that I've been using, the gorgeous papers, at janedavenport.com, where we've got lots of other videos for you to enjoy and lots of inspiration. I love what I do, and I just love creating colours.